Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl Roxy here, and I want to welcome you to today's video. I'm super excited about today's video because recently the USA Championships happened, and it's so much fun because this is the time when new IFBB pros are inaugurated into the federation. And I just remember how exciting it was for me to win my pro card. And I did do the USA many years ago, and it is one of my favorite shows. And I gotta say, the 2022 USA's absolutely, positively did not disappoint. Today, what I want to do is I want to take a look at the women's division overall winners, and I want to give a physique evaluation about what I think about the package that they brought to the stage and why they may have won over other competitors. And then I want to take each of these women and put them side by side so that way you can see the difference in these divisions and how they are being judged. The national level shows presents a great opportunity for those of you who are amateurs and you're trying to figure out what you should be bringing to the stage, what to expect if you plan to compete on the national level, and what is winning, what the judges are awarding. I feel like it's really easy, of course, to look to the pros, but when you can look towards amateurs such as yourself, it gives you a more realistic gauge as far as what you need to do to bring your best to the stage and win. But before we go ahead and jump into that, I want to welcome you here to the channel. My name is Roxie Beckles. I am an IFBB pro who had the honor of competing at the 2014 Olympia in women's physique. I'm also an online coach and expert trainer who specializes in working with women. Here on my channel, we talk about the 4 pillars of fitness: your physical fitness, your mental fitness, your emotional fitness, and your spiritual fitness, and how all of that really has to work together to bring out your best body and to enhance your life, all while empowering your femininity. So if this is your first time here, honey, you better stop right now. Go ahead and stop and subscribe and hit that bell notifications and set it to all notifications so that way you do not miss a single thing, honey. I also want you to stop right now and hit the like button, whether you're new or you're returning. This helps us spread it throughout YouTube, helps the channel grow, and shows your support. Now, if you are a woman who is thinking about stepping on stage, you want to compete, whether it's coming up in a few weeks, a few months, or sometime in the next year, I am currently building up my team Rockstar roster, my competition team. So I want to talk to you. Stick around to the very end and I'll tell you how you could go ahead and set up your free 20-minute consultation. And if you're someone who may not be looking to compete, but you want to get into the best shape of your life, I also want you to stick around and I'll tell you how we can go ahead and work together. All right, enough of this blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So let's go ahead and get started with my personal favorite division, figure. This year, figure had 6 divisions, and the top 2 in each division earned their IFBB Pro cards. And the woman who won Class E and won the overall at the USA's was Becca Wilcox. This was a really deep lineup of amazingly talented athletes, and Becca just really brought a great package to the stage. One of the things that I really like about her physique is her top to bottom symmetry. Now, she doesn't have a bunch of size when it comes to figure, and one of the things she's going to have to work on as she transitions into becoming a pro is to put on size on her frame. But the way that her body flows from top to bottom, left to right, front to back, she's got some great lines and nothing is overpowering her physique. She brought really tight conditioning to the stage as well. As you can see, her legs are looking great. The quadriceps have some really great separation. She's got separation in her abdominals and even up to her shoulders, which look nice, round, full, and lean as well. Turning her around to the back, her conditioning from top to bottom is so spot on. I love it when an athlete turns around and you can clearly see even conditioning in their upper body and the lower half, especially when you look right at that glute ham tie-in. And I absolutely love the little heart-shaped muscle of the hamstrings in the back as well. Speaking of her back, when you take a look at her back muscles, you can literally see every single muscle in detail, and this is just fantastic conditioning that she brought to the stage. Now, one of the biggest questions you might have is, why did Becca win the overall above the other figure competitors who showed up that day? So you know I had to go back and take a look and see. Come on, you know me. When I went through and looked at each of the class winners, every single one of them brought an amazing physique to the stage, but there's something that was lacking with each of them. them. For some competitors, their tan was a little bit too light, so they looked a little washed out on stage. For the most part, many of them did not have even conditioning, so they were harder on top and maybe not as lean and hard on the bottom. And a few of the other competitors did lack the size. And that's one of the things that's really important with figure, is that symmetry, size, and conditioning win shows. And even if you're someone who doesn't have the perfect physique, but you stand next to a competitor who has like the most perfect hourglass, if that competitor is not in shape, if they don't have the size and they don't have the hardness, they won't win. In the past, shape always seemed to win out quite a bit. But in the current climate, with the way that each of the divisions is going, conditioning is key. So ladies, you want to make sure that you are bringing your A game and you are leaning out. And when you're doing your quarter turns, everything looks like it flows and that the conditioning, size, shape, and everything is even. Let's go ahead and go into the bikini division. Now, I have to admit that I have a newfound respect for the bikini division. And I know that's terrible for me to say as a coach. I mean, I should be loving all the divisions, but quite frankly, for a long time, just like a lot of people, I just did not understand bikini, didn't know what the hell they were doing. It just was like these girls prancing around doing an absolutely obnoxious back pose. I'm still not convinced about the back pose, but I've got to say that since the divisions have been getting harder and they've been putting more emphasis on size and conditioning, I really see the vision now for bikini, and I'm very excited about it. So the winner of the bikini division, the overall, was Savannah Watchman, and she brings such a very refreshing kind of package to the stage. That's the best way that I can describe it. I love the blonde hair, and I love her shape and her tiny waist. She has nice round shoulders. And as you're working down and looking at the rest of her body from the waist all the way down to the glutes are nice and full. Her legs are nice and full and developed. Everything flows one into the other. A lot of what wins the judges' attention is your presentation and how you're showing your personality. And just by the way that she's posing, I can tell that she's probably pretty good at that. Otherwise, she would not have won the overall. But the big question is always, why did she win? Now, there were 16 competitors who won their pro cards in bikini. And as I was looking through the comparison photos of her specific lineup in the E class, you can clearly see why she was chosen as a winner, not only there, but in the overall as well. All of these women look so fantastic, but the thing about Savannah's shape are her legs. When she turned around to the back, and you really got a chance to take a look at the muscularity of each of the women standing side by side, one of the things I noticed about her is that she had beautifully developed calves, nicely developed hamstrings and glutes with great conditioning. So we saw that separation without too much striation, meaning it didn't look super hard and you couldn't see the actual muscle fibers like you can see with the bodybuilders, but there was great separation where we can see where that glute ham tie-in is. Another thing that I really loved about her shape in this back pose are her quads. You can see the quads from the side and everything just flows really nicely together. What I observed with the other competitors, although they all looked absolutely fantastic, some of the women need to bring up their glutes, some of them need to bring up their quads, some of them need to bring up their calves. Some of them looked a little stringy and flat on stage, and that's really a fine line that you have to play with when it comes to depleting yourself and peaking for the stage. And as she turns around to the front and you see the front comparisons, she's got a really nice tiny waist and just the right amount of muscularity for this division. So fantastic work. I cannot wait to see her on the next level as a pro. So now let's go ahead and move on to women's physique. So physique has a near and dear place in my heart because that is the division where I turned pro and competed as a pro and competed at the Olympia with. So when I see physique competitors, I pay a little bit more extra attention to the detail. And what's interesting about this competitor is that not only did she earn her pro card in physique, but she also won her pro card in bodybuilding, which almost does not happen because they're supposed to be two completely separate divisions. However, when I break down why she won both divisions, you're gonna see how that actually played out and why. So let's go ahead and roll over to the bodybuilding division first. Now, when it came to bodybuilding, she was a light heavyweight and there were only 3 competitors in her lineup. And when you take a look at her comparison to the other 2 women that step on stage, They looked absolutely fantastic. However, she had more shape, so she outsized them, and she had a better shape as well. And with these competitors, she also outconditioned them. So I think that for Gessica in bodybuilding, winning her class was just something that she could do like a cakewalk. Now it came time to her being compared to the heavyweight competitor. The heavyweight competitor looked amazing. The only thing was that she did not bring the conditioning that she needs to have for the bodybuilding division. So she was beaten out and Gessica won the overall and her pro card in bodybuilding. However, she wasn't done yet, honey. She went off and did women's physique as well. She went off and took the cake there too. Here's how she did it. I'm really excited about Gessica winning the women's physique overall because I think that with the amount of size that she has, it's a really good place. It's a nice place for this specific division. So let's take a look at how she did it. One of the things I will say that she's gonna have to do as she goes onto the pro level of this division is making sure that she brings the conditioning. So her conditioning looks great for the USAs. It obviously afforded her with the opportunity to win overall twice. However, her legs are not as tight as they need to be for physique, so she's got to bring that in a little bit more. When you turn her around to the back, her back pose in this back double bicep is absolutely fantastic. The one thing I would say for those of you who are in physique, or if you do fit body in one of the other federations where you have to do these mandatory poses, watch out for how you position your back and your lats in the back double bicep. You really want to make sure you're spreading your back really wide apart so we see a beautiful hourglass physique. And that's the one thing I would have corrected with her if I were her posing coach, to make sure that she can really show off this incredible physique. Her back is pinching together a little bit too much and it's hiding the width that she actually has. And when you come down to her lower half, she looks nice and tight. You can see the glute ham tie-in right there, but she still has a little film of either water or some body fat that can still come off. If she were to diet for another, let's say 2 weeks or so, I think she can bring this in a little bit crisper. Now, what was interesting, when I went back to look at the photos of who the other winners were of the women's physique division, it was the same girls that were in the bodybuilding division were also in physique that also won their classes in physique. So she was kind of up against the same competitors for women's physique with a few more added in when it came to the overall. And interestingly, the women that she beat out in bodybuilding actually won their pro cards in women's physique. So you guys go figure that out. You know, it's kind of how the rules are, and they lucked out. But the ladies who did win in physique but didn't win in bodybuilding or place, they've got some work to do before they can go ahead and step on that stage and look competitive on the pro level. But it was very clear that when she stood up there and she was compared to the rest of the lineup, she just dominated. So fantastic job for Gessica, and I cannot wait to see her out there on the pro stage. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at wellness. Wellness is the hottest and newest division in the NPC and IFBB, and boy, has it been taking off. And it's very interesting to see how this division has really developed over the last 2 years or so. And Miss Jennifer, honey, Miss Scarborough, she understood the assignment, okay? Because she bought this body that just looked fantastic. One of the things that you will notice with the differences between bikini and wellness is definitely the size. The posing is very similar. However, the size, the shape, and the conditioning are far different from each other. Jennifer's physique really represents this division well. You see how she has really great mature muscle density, and all of her lines flow from top to bottom, left to right, and front to back. And when I say that, what I mean is that when you look at her body, when you look at the legs, you look at the abs, you look at her upper body, turn around, flip her to the back, you look at the glutes, you look at the hamstrings, everything can be seen. There's separation between each of those muscles. And it's not so hard that you see striation. At the same time, she's got really great fullness. And one of the things I noticed about her is just her whole entire package and how well it's put together. I love the blonde hair for her. The suit looks fantastic. Her tan looks absolutely fantastic. And it's these little kind of details, ladies, that you need to pay attention to, because at the end of the day, bodybuilding is kind of like an athletic beauty pageant, especially for the women. So the best way to see why she won this show is to go ahead and take a look at the comparisons from her actual class. Each of these ladies was bringing some serious size. I mean, look at those legs, look at the tiny waist, look at their shoulders. You can tell that they spend a lot of time in the gym sculpting their bodies. But shows her one from the back. So let's flip these babies around because you're gonna really see how she clenched this win. From behind, each of the ladies in her lineup have really developed glutes and hamstrings. But hers flows so nicely. There's not a single part that just stands out that's like boom, her quads, or boom, her calves, or boom, her glutes. Everything is nice and even in size. And the other thing is the tightness and the crispness of her conditioning. Out of all of the ladies here on stage, you can really see that glute ham tie-in, and you can see the inner hamstring muscles as well right there in the back. She isn't the most muscular or the biggest girl on stage, and for wellness, that's not really the point. The point is not to be the biggest one on stage, but it is to carry the amount of muscle that's needed for the division and then to make it all flow beautifully. And that is one thing that she was able to do. And I cannot wait to see her on that pro level. Oh my gosh, she's gonna be great. One of the things I always say to my competitors is that it is important for you to be true fans of the sport, to watch bodybuilding shows and not to just watch your division, but to look at everything. Because when you look at all of the divisions, including the men's, you get to see where the industry is headed and how the judges are judging competitors. It also gives you an opportunity to train your eyes, and you can evaluate physiques in a way that will help you to become a better competitor as well. A lot of times when I hear competitors cry politics, I often roll my eyes because yes, sometimes politics do come into play, but I don't think it's as often as people like to scream. When you really take a look at competitors and you compare them objectively, you get to see who won and exactly why. Now, I'm not saying again that politics do not play a role, because they do, but don't worry about that, especially on the amateur level. Just focus on bringing your best. That's it, you guys. I really hope that today's video was enlightening for you, whether you compete or not. I am so excited about the sport again, and I know that my talent is really in helping you to understand the sport and understand what you need to do to be a winner. And if you're looking to get into the best shape of your life, if you're looking to compete, or if you're a woman who just wants to go ahead and put her fitness at the forefront and you want to go ahead and aim for your best physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, honey, you got to come talk to your girl. Right now, I am taking on new clients. I want to build up my team, a rockstar roster. I want you to be a part of it. Come on by to my website, rockstarfitness.com/claritycall. Fill out an application and set up your complimentary 20-minute appointment so we can talk about your goals and what it is that you want to achieve, what's keeping you up at night, what's keeping you stuck, and see if I can help you to get unstuck or to get on that stage. So let's go ahead and get you together, all the way together. If you don't want to compete, but you want to go ahead and support the channel, click that join button below and make sure that you come by, become a member, unlock special videos and more. And if you'd like to get workouts sent to you, you want to be able to touch base with me, but go at your own pace when it comes to your training and your nutrition, you would be perfect for my Inner Circle program. I'm no longer doing Patreon. I have my membership community on my own site, and you can go to rockstarfitness.com/innercircle to get yourself signed up for just $7 to start, guys. You better come on over and take advantage of that. Let me change your body, change your life, and keep you inspired. Go ahead and subscribe right now. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you set your bell notifications, and I'll see you on the next one. And while you're at it, go ahead and watch this next video. I'll see you over there.